Now, in picking a topic for your blog, you have to think a little differently than in picking a topic as a speaker. I'm sure you've heard the expression, I can speak on anything, as being a mistake. That if you're a generalist speaker, that's not good for you. You need to go niche. You need to carve out a certain niche. You need to be a speaker who does financial planning for airline pilots, something like that. Blogging is a little different. Because it's a global audience, you want something with global appeal. You don't want to exclude people unnecessarily. So for example, the tagline for my website is personal development for smart people. That really doesn't exclude many people, unless you happen to think you're dumb. And something like 95% of people think they have above average intelligence. So you don't want to go too niche on the internet. Why rule out a global audience? Make, in some fashion, something for everyone. This doesn't mean to be a generalist, though, a person who will write about anything or anything at all. It means picking a focus. Personal development is my focus, but that's not really a niche, because personal development is everything. It can apply to anything. But it does tell people that this is the theme of the site, this is the type of information they're going to find here. But I can write about health, relationships, productivity, spirituality, whatever is of interest to me, I can put a personal development slant on it. So find something to write about in your blog that is very general and has very broad appeal. If you are blogging just about some narrow topic, two problems will happen. One, anybody that comes to your website that's not interested in that topic will leave, benefiting you nothing, not helping to grow your traffic, and they won't give you referrals. Two, if you were to write 650 articles on that topic or more, you would probably be bored to tears. You'd be pulling your hair out. I know people who have started blogs a few years ago, around the same time I did, and they started a blog, say, on law, even though that's a general topic, and they are bored to tears with it. But they've become successful, so they feel trapped into continuing to write about law. Don't do that to yourself if you can avoid it. Now, a solution is perhaps to hire somebody else to blog for you, to write for you. But if you want to do this and get involved personally, which is my recommendation, write about what you're passionate about and what you're interested about. And give yourself a general enough theme that you're not limiting yourself terribly to a particular niche, that you have something for everybody, but also give it enough of a focus that people know what you're about. I suggest you write everything in your blog as plain text. Here are some of the reasons. Plain text is the simplest way to communicate online, and the best, really, as opposed to doing audio or video. Perhaps of this list of ideas, the most important one is that it's search-friendly, meaning that plain text will get indexed by search engines, like Google, which means anything you write about could potentially lead to a search visitor coming to your site and finding that information. The more content you have on your website, the more you've seeded the search engines with possible terms that people could find your site by searching on. If you put up audio or video files, people cannot search the content of those. There's also some other disadvantages. They're harder to edit if you have mistakes in them. They're harder to update. And plain text can be repurposed into a number of other media. You can turn your plain text into an audio program. You can turn it into a video program in addition to having the text there, but I would say always have the text there. For example, when I interview somebody for my blog, like recently I did an interview with David Brooks, who's in Toastmasters, the 1990 world champion of public speaking. So earlier, last week, I posted an interview with him on my website. But I did it as a plain text interview, and we just did it through email. I could have done it as an audio interview by phone, and audio is certainly more expressive. I could have interviewed him in person when he came to Las Vegas with a little camera. Much more expressive even than audio. Certainly more expressive than plain text. But it's been my experience that people will be less likely to download those audio and video files. And it's not going to get picked up by search engines. This is why I do everything in plain text. It's a little less expressive, it's a little bit more boring, makes the site look a little bit more bland, but it has some tremendous advantages. Ad-friendly is also important if you want to generate income from your content, because many ad programs are what's called context sensitive, meaning that you put some ad code on your website provided by someone like Google, and their search engine will scan your content, try to figure out what it's about, and then provide ads that are relevant to the content. So if I write an article on self-discipline, I might see ads on that page for self-discipline audio programs or seminars. If I write an article about productivity, I might see ads on the page for productivity software. So the ads on every page of my site are different based on the content. Those ads will get a higher click-through rate. It'll make more money for you as well.